We're honored to be joined by the Honorable State Senator Vince Polistina, who represents the second legislative district. Senator, good to have you with us.
Great to be here, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Where's that district?
Atlantic County primarily, so many of the towns in Atlantic County, including Atlantic City.
You're one of the Republicans that got reelected in the November 7th election. Some of your colleagues did not. What key issue or issues really dictated the Democrats gaining some seats and the GOP losing some?
I think the Democrats certainly after the last election had a focus on affordability, a little different than some of the Republicans. You know, we're talking about taxes, talking about making New Jersey a more affordable state. Of course, the Republicans got a little more into some of the culture issues and, some of the issues that, generate excitement in the base, but also generate excitement in the Democratic base. And so obviously the message that we had didn't work very well. We got to regroup and get back at it.
And by the way, congratulations on your victory, Senator.
Thank you very much. It was interesting here. I mean, we did well when others did not. So it's good to be going back and being able to serve the people here.
But what I'm curious about is this. You've always been known as a straight up, says it like it is, reasonable public policy maker in the Senate. But I've asked every Republican, Democrats get asked other kinds of questions for other reasons. And this is the question I asked one of your colleagues today. Do you acknowledge, because 70 to 80% of the Republicans polled say that the 2020 election was stolen and Joe Biden is not the legitimate president of the nation and that Donald Trump didn't actually lose? What do you believe?
2020 election is over. Joe Biden is our president. I think everybody has to acknowledge that. And look, I mean, now we're through this year's election. We're on to 2024. So 2020 is in the rearview mirror. It's clear Joe Biden is our president. We got to accept that. We got to run against him as the incumbent president. And hopefully we do better next year.
But Donald Trump lost.
Yes. That's why Joe Biden's the president.
Right. And the reason I'm asking is about election integrity, if you will, whether Democrats or Republicans win, people believing in the results of an election and, dare I say, a peaceful transition of power, the governorship, the presidency, whatever. Let's bring it back to home. Parents' rights. Senator, put this in perspective for us. We've had so many different people talk about this. A parent's right to know something about their 10-year-old. If their 10-year-old is telling a teacher or a school administrator in a public school that they're confused about their gender, that they may identify a certain way, what should parents know and not know, and what parents shouldn't know? Because we just had an LGBTQ advocate come on and say, parents should know unless the parent or the child feels the parent is not supportive and the child's at risk. Make sense of this for us, Senator, please.
Yeah, I mean, from my standpoint, parents should be involved to be notified about their children, all aspects of their children's life, including the education. I think parents care for their children and they want to be involved. There are bad parents just like there are bad apples everywhere, but we can't, try to take parents out of the equation entirely because of a few bad parents.
How do we protect those kids? How do we protect those kids who feel at risk, Senator?
I mean, I think that the educational community certainly has a role. And if the student or the child feels like there is an issue, certainly that should be communicated. And then I think you do need to take other steps. But at the end of the day, Steve, I mean, parents love their kids, and I think they need to be involved in their children's lives. And I think we're not going to get society better unless we continue to involve parents and notify parents about, things affecting their children.
Thank you for your direct answer, Senator. Let's bring it to the question of climate change, wind energy, et cetera. We have been talking to a whole range of people for the last couple of years about wind energy, the larger clean energy program in the state. The governor's energy master plan. Question. Ørsted, the largest wind energy provider, I believe, in the world, or close to it, they're out. $1 billion on the line they were going to get in some tax credit subsidy, or excuse me, a tax credit. Now, apparently, they're not getting it, according to those who we just spoke to in the governor's office. But they left. Now, where is, from your view, Senator, is the wind energy policy in the state, and how does it relate to the larger climate change initiative in New Jersey?
There's a lot to unpack there, Steve. I think specifically to the offshore wind, the math doesn't work and numbers don't lie. And when we saw the inflationary period that we're in, when we saw the supply chain issues, when we saw interest rates rise, The math didn't work. That's why PSE&G pulled out. That's why Ørsted is now out. The economics of offshore wind is just not there right now. So we need to regroup, from an energy standpoint. I, continue to say we need an all the above approach, and let's have a real honest discussion.
What does that mean? Define all what?
All, everything, traditional, nuclear, some of the other, we're talking about all the alternative technologies, maybe with wave energy. Certainly we need cleaner energy, but it's got to be, all the above approach. I think some of the small cell nuclear reactors should be part of the future. We're not going to produce all the energy we need from offshore wind. It's just not feasible. We got to have a real honest conversation about how we produce energy at a reasonable cost in this state. And let's have an honest discussion about it.
Some of your colleagues argued in campaign promotional efforts to beat Democrats that Governor Murphy was, quote, coming to take your stove. You believe that's true?
He was not coming to take your stove. He was providing incentives for people to switch to electric stoves, but nobody was coming for your gas stove. I think some of the stuff, obviously, in campaigns gets a little overblown, and you hear a lot of rhetoric.
A little bit.
A little bit. So, back to what I said about having an honest conversation. We need to have a real honest dialogue about some of these topics. And if we can do that, get in a room, be honest about the issues, we'll be in a lot better place in New Jersey.
I got to ask you this, Senator. There's a graphic that's going to come up as I ask you this, democracy in danger, because it is. It's not my opinion. Everybody knows it is. For someone who's I don't even know if the word is conservative, moderate, but reasonable on so many levels, who works across the aisle, where the heck do you find the reason to be optimistic about getting stuff done between Democrats and Republicans, between Republicans and Republicans, between Democrats and left-wing Democrats, progressives who can't agree on very much either? Where is the reason to be positive? I know it's a big question, but please.
Steve, I think we've done it in Atlantic County. It's been 2 years. I went back in the state Senate, and you looked at working across with the Democratic administration, very good relationship with Governor Murphy, Chief of Staff Helmy when he was there, Senate President Scutari. We've done it in Atlantic County. We got the Atlantic County prosecutor in place, 7 judges in place, appointments to Stockton, got some budget initiatives we were looking for here and investments into our region. And so I think that Atlantic County gives a blueprint, and that's why I do have hope, because we have had tremendous success here in Atlantic County, just getting things done, not focusing on the politics, focusing on the people of Atlantic County and the region. And I think that, we've proven that we can do it. And so it gives me a lot of hope for the future.
Last question on my end. We're involved in an initiative called Reimagine Childcare, accessible, affordable, quality childcare. How high a priority for you, Senator?
Huge priority. Obviously, back to the parental issue and just children, we have got to reinforce the family aspect of society. We got to reinforce parents. We got to make sure we're supporting children. Obviously, they're the next generation. And we got to make sure that every child, regardless of background, regardless of where they're from, understands that they have an opportunity. Work hard, get educated, keep your nose out of trouble. And there will be opportunities in this state. So I think childcare, giving them the notion that they will have a chance to succeed is very, very critical going forward.
Senator, I promise this will not be the last time you join us, and we really appreciate the conversation. Thank you, Senator.
Anytime, Steve. Thanks for having me. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Hackensack Meridian Health, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Wells Fargo, the New Jersey Education Association, PSE&G, Operating Engineers, Local 825, Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, New Brunswick Development Corporation, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State, and by Employers Association of New Jersey. Promotional support provided by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association, and by NJ.com.
At the Community Food Bank of New Jersey.
We are working.
Now, more than ever.
To fill the emptiness caused by hunger.
We are the state's largest anti-hunger organization.
And together with our 800+ community partners,
we are committed to delivering food,
help,
and hope
to our hundreds and thousands of neighbors in need.